In this video, we're going to cover the customer screen. This is from the main menu where we're going to go ahead and click on the customer screen button. In the customer screen, as you are using this application, if you have the need to track customer information for later usage, what you do is you access this screen. What you're going to do is add the information for the customer as far as the name, city, state, address, and so forth as you see on the screen. If you do not have information, for example, like multiple cells or phones, or you're only going to try to gather the information for the person's email or secondary email, go ahead and add that information in this screen. Down here is a field called the UDF fields. You can put straight conversational things in this area, and this is an unlimited piece of information if there is specific information you want to identify about this particular client. The way this UDF field works is you can add a title in this field and then the narrative below that for the subject that you want to put in there. For example, looking at this, this is the title field, and this one says your job description and leader of the free world. You can have anything you want in these, and you can have as many as you want of these. So they can be specific things or unique things about this particular client that you want to track that information. There's also a portal button over here that goes to a larger screen so you can view the portal area and all this information in here in a larger view. There's also the location, and what the location does, the tab, it will bring up MapQuest and give you the access to be able to view the actual location of this client's where they're coming from as far as their delivery. If you had to deliver something to them, you could verify their delivery address, or if you just had a need to go to that particular location to find out where it is. The company information, this is where if you have this client who is a company and you want to track that information for the company, you can add it in this field here. Okay, there is a customer report by store in the screen that you can use to view each customer. Now, the way the store works in this application is if you have multiple stores or locations where you're selling from, this particular button will take you to that report and break out individual stores. And in this case, if you look up here, you'll see the store location, and there's actually a click. You can click on this yellow field with an underline, and what that's telling you, there's a subscreen in there that allows you to add store information as far as this particular store. Now, like in store 1 in this case, if I click on this, it will take me to it and give me a breakdown of the location and information about that store. As far as the icons and buttons at the top, these are buttons that will actually take you to the different screens. You can either go back to the main menu using this button, or you can click on these to take you to sales, inventory, and purchasing. Or what you can do is if there are reports or other links down here, you can use those. These are empty buttons that don't have anything in them right now. So you would use only the ones that have a narrative in there. It's about where it's going to go. The show hide button is used in different circumstances where if you are on the iPad and you want more real estate on the screen to view, you can hide the upper and lower menu bars by clicking this button. It gives you more screen area to view the area on this card. The list view will take you to a list view of all the records for customers that are added to this application. This is one customer record, and you can have many customers, and the way you see many customers is to look at the list view. The screen you're currently in, on each screen will say form view. This is the form view. It is not active. What it means is that you are on the form view. And all screens within this application where you are on the browser, web browser, and this is used in a multi-user environment where you have it on a cloud server, you would click commit or revert. If you are editing data on the browser, clicking commit will lock in that information and forward it into the browser records in the fields that you edit. If you do not want to complete the edits that you did, you can go ahead and click revert, and it will revert to the information that was in the fields before you started editing. Now, in this application, when you're on a browser and you click in a field, There'll be a momentary delay where it shifts from the view, like you're looking at here, into the edit mode. And when you're in the edit mode, that's when you can go ahead and change the field data or add information to fields that are blank. Each of these records that are created has an ID that's up in the corner. This is used in different locations for relational linking on the application. This is called a parent record because the parent record includes information, and then there are screens below this screen that allow you to view more additional information that's related to this record. There are two icons in here. This icon will take you to the next record. This will back you up one record. If you're creating a new client record, you'll use the New Record button. Clicking that will blank out this whole thing and allow you to add new data into the fields for a new client. If you're looking for a particular record in this application, in any screen that is not in a portal, and this is a portal right here, this scrolling area, if it's not in a portal, you can use that in a find. And the way you do a find is you click on the find record, and it empties out all the fields. Then you can go ahead and add data into a field. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens if you have incorrect data. I'm just going to throw a W in there. When you're adding stuff into a field, it'll find partial information. So for example, if you had a first or last name, it can pick up, or an address, a portion of it, it can pick up that information and actually find what records in this application have that data. Now, in this particular case, you would click the Perform Find, and what will happen is it'll go out and it'll look for any records that are out there with that particular information in them. If it doesn't find them, it won't return anything to the record. So let's go ahead and perform the find and see what happens. Okay, when we do a perform the find, you'll see that it puts a little question mark, not a question mark, but a sight glass in each screen. So if I type in there, and like I did before, I put a W, and then I go ahead and put perform find and do that, and we'll see what happens when I do that. It comes back and it says, well, there's a W in there, and it found the one record that had a W in it. So that's how you can do a find. You can see that that store location was where this customer, and in this particular case, this is a generic entry. What that means is you're going to have a client on an invoice or whatever, and you can use the walk-in customer if you're not going to take data on the customer. This may be a cash buyer who is not going to give you any information as far as the rest of this information is concerned, so they would be a walk-in buyer. So you do not have to have that. Now this is a generic record. You do not edit it or delete it. What you would do is use this anytime you have an invoice or a need where you have to put in a client where it is a walk-in because you do not have a client in the system. Now, if you do a find like I just did and you need to return all the records back to being able to view, what that means is anytime you do a find, it'll take the current records with the data in it that you looked for, and those will be the only ones that are available. So if you cycled through the screens using the plus and minus, you would only have the records for those that were found based on the find that you did. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to show all the records when you get done after you viewed these records. Go ahead and click the Show All Records button, and what it'll do is it'll add all the records back into the application that were there, making it a found set of all the records in the app. In this particular screen, there were 4 records, and it returned the 4 records. Depending on if you're on the browser or if you're on the iPad, you'll see the records in selection change the number from what you did in the find to what when you do the show all, back to showing all the records. The main menu button will take you back to the main menu. This field up here is the one that if you wanted to tag each record by the date that it was actually added or information was put in there, you can tag the record so you'll know when this record was created. If you have any other questions about this information or the records, go ahead and get in touch with me by email. Thank you.